Loads of you have messaged and asked about the Elvie Pump, as you have seen that I have been using it, and asked me to kind of give it a bit of a review. Now, I have borrowed this from a friend, so I can't give this like long-term reviews for you. However, I can kind of tell you what it's been like over the last few weeks of me using it. I really like it. So I'll kind of go over how I found it and also talk about some of the things I've heard other people say and what Elvie themselves say about it. So this is the Elvie Pump. I borrowed this from my friend for our training weekend. I'd had another bout of mastitis, so I was going to be away from my baby and I needed something that I could pop in and able to move around with. Now, that was great. I am used to using pumps where you've got something you have to hold, you have to put them on your boobs, they stick out like this, they're quite big, they're uncomfortable. Now, I don't mind having that on in front of people. However, this was a hell of a lot easier to just go about my day with, which was really, really great. Elvie describes it as being able to be discreetly tucked away in your bra, which is really true. However, it is discreet, and yes, it's better than having your boobs out. I would say, however, in fact, let me show you. Boobs normally, them. I'm going to pop this in. Now, it is discreet. I can get my boob in. Now, people know. People are going to know that you've got something going on there. Personally, I don't really mind, but if you're thinking it's going to go away and people won't be able to see anything and it won't be very obvious at all, and that's not particularly true. But I didn't care and have found it by far the easiest pump to be on the go with that I've ever used. The other thing that I hear people talk about is the fact that it's not very quiet, and that it should be silent. Now, Elvie say quiet by design makes it ultra quiet, and people are like, it's not silent. It's so quiet, like you can barely hear it at all. I wonder if the people saying this have never used a typical breast pump before, because every breast pump I've ever used, they sound like this. Like, they are so fucking loud, and this was not loud at all. I thought it was great. I thought how quiet it was fantastic, and actually that you could sit around with people, and as long as there wasn't dead silence, you would not hear it at all. So for me, that was a massive thumbs up. Wasn't loud, could just get on without it kind of making lots of noise and interrupting what we were doing. Now, the price point for it is expensive. It is £269 for it. That is a lot of money, and I understand that's what puts a lot of people off. Personally, I think I'm going to get myself one. I would pay that because breast pumps don't always work for me, and I found this with a lot that I've used. My boobs don't respond well to breast pumps. A little breastfeeding lesson as well. How much you can pump is no indication of how much you are actually getting and what your baby can feed on. So that doesn't matter. However, this I found got out, every time I put it on, I could get out about 2 ounces. Now, that is a lot for me. Obviously, I was away from my baby at the time as well, so he wasn't feeding. However, even then, I usually wouldn't get that much. So I did find that fantastic. It really, really works. And the fact that it's not, really pulling at your nipple. Sometimes I've found that I've had to put it on a really high setting, other pumps, to get them to work, whereas this just worked, and it worked really, really well. So for me, this does get a huge thumbs up. I would say I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I am ducting it 2 points because if you do bend over, milk does come out, so you do have to be kind of wary of that, obviously. It wasn't a lot, but a little bit. And just because of how bulky it is sat in the bra. Now, Elvie do actually have a new product out, which is called, I'm on their shop now, I believe it's called an Elvie Stride. Just double checking. Yes, so basically this is a hospital handheld, it's hospital grade hand free pump. So it's the same as this, but rather than having the top bit in the bra, it basically goes down and you clip it on. So not completely just one thing. However, it does look like it's a little less bulky on the boobs. I've not tried it, obviously, so I can't tell you for sure. And it's cheaper. It's £169. So there is a different version. I'm sure it's the same sort of technology, so it probably works very similarly. So maybe I'll give that a go. I don't know. But I really enjoyed it. I do think it's worth the money. I think it's small as well. Like, you really don't have to carry much around with you. Where's the little bag gone? I don't know. I had it a second ago to show you, but it there we go. This is what it comes like. That's what my friend bought it to me in. It's tiny, tiny, tiny little bag that can pop it in. I'm breastfeeding, so I just give it a wash with soapy water, not obviously the electrical bit, but the other bits. I think it's fab. It works beautifully. It gets lots of milk out for me. I think it's worth it. I like Elvie. I like the things they do. I use their pelvic floor trainer as well. I just think it all works great. So personally, yes, it is very different from any pump I've ever used before. Completely hands-free, discreet, very discreet. I wouldn't say completely unnoticeable, but definitely discreet. I went and met a friend yesterday for lunch. She's exclusively pumping and she's using the Elvie. She popped it in her bra. We carried on eating and chatting, and about 15 minutes later, she pulled it out, tipped all the milk she'd had into a bottle, and then gave it to her baby. I didn't realise she was doing it. It was very discreet, and had I not seen her put it in there, I'd have no idea whatsoever. So the Elvie, for me, I do think it is worth the money. I think if you are looking to pump regularly, then absolutely. It's something that is well worth investing in. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Alex and I are going to try and do a few more of these on different things. So if you've got anything in particular you want to know about, then comment, let us know, and we can review them, look into them, see if we can get hold of one so we can have a look at it. We are very happy to do that for you lot. We've got nearly 6 children between us. We've got a lot of experience in that kind of thing. So yeah, much love.